Hey everybody, welcome back on MDG Media, your European Disc Golf Hub channel. This is Moving Day here at the 2024 Swedish Open presented by Kastaplast, MPO lead card, 7th stop on the DGPT Europe. My name is Maxime Tanghe and with me as usual, Elias Luukkonen.
What's up Maxime, nice to be here once again. Second round lead card on a course that can punish you, that can make you score really good, really bad. We have a set of players that we haven't really seen that often on the lead card.
You're right, we have two US players, your 6-time world champion obviously, and we'll have Roland from Estonia, Roland Kõur, and Jakub Knápek from Czech Republic. So first on the tee, as you can see, Paul McBeth, 1037 rated for the moment, representing Discraft. What a pleasure to have him on the card.
Yeah, Paul, obviously one of the most famous players in the entire world. Jakub Knápek, a player from Czech Republic, he has a good backhand-forehand combo that's really gonna come in handy on this course. You would love to have both backhand and forehand at your arsenal here.
Yeah, you're right. And Roland Kõur, coming from Estonia, representing Pro Discus. He was at the interview after the first round. He's pretty comfortable on the wooded course. It reminds him home. Let's see if he's able to keep the pace today.
And James Proctor, another American player, very accurate thrower of the disc, specifically with a backhand and one of the best putters you're ever going to see.
Yeah, so smooth, and we'll start on hole 1.
Yeah, hole 123 meters, a par 3, a pretty challenging one at that. You would love to get a straight fairway driver or a straight mid-range, just get it down there. You can skip about for the last 10 meters. You would love to be under the basket on this one, but it's a pretty safe play also to go a little bit left at the very end. There's OB right, that's really the biggest danger you have to avoid.
Exactly. Control the turn on your disc as a righty. And let's introduce the players. We had Roland, Paul and James. Ella
the reigning Swedish Open champion and 6-time world champion.
on the back for James. And let's start. An even bigger crowd today for the MPO field.
And Paul this time making the adjustment from round 1 where he flipped the disc too far over, playing it safe to the left. That's a decent play, but he's gonna have a difficult putt.
Yeah, left side as you mentioned.
From the Czech Republic, Jakub Knápek.
And Jakub, first time on the lead card this season, I'm pretty sure. First time for me to comment on him also. We are used to have Jakub Semerad. This time we have the other one.
Yeah, Jakub Knápek, a very unique player. And he's going to be inbounds there, both play-wise and personality-wise.
From Estonia, Roland Kõur.
An example of how unique Jakub's philosophy on the game is that sometimes you can, during the round, if he's, getting a little bit nervous, he might start playing mobile games on his phone. That's his way to cope with the nerves.
I didn't know this one. And Roland, we had him on the chase card in Copenhagen with a really solid finish. And this is an amazing drive for him. Good start.
And the fourth player on this card, sponsored by Infinite and Thought Space Athletics. From the USA, James Proctor.
I was talking to Roland's fellow Estonian mate today on the course, and they were saying that they wouldn't be surprised if Roland shot another 9 under or even better. He's very comfortable at hitting the gaps on this course. And James here, great line, just a little bit low. He's gonna have to make a putt from circle 2, something that we are quite used to seeing from him.
Yeah, you're right. And what a pleasure to have him on the card. He was caddying for Evelina this morning. He brings so much energy in a card. He's talking all the time and always sharing some stuff. It's great.
And that's going to be a good par there for Jakub Knápek. I'm wondering, he must be a little bit nervous as it's his, as you said, first time this season being on the camera card.
Yeah, and you saw the drive was a bit overcooked, overturned, and really low. But yeah, good approach, good touch. Oh, Yeah, a little bit short, catching the front cage.
And now James, important comebacker at the very start of the round, and that's right there in the middle. Solid stroke, he can probably build some confidence from there after the first putt that looked pretty far pulled to the right.
Yeah, you're right. And this one is dead center, good for the confidence. Oh, strong one. A bit of pressure probably, and one down. Good start for Roland.
Gonna be very interesting to see how Roland's putting holds up in the very high pressure situation of the lead card, as putting is definitely one of his strengths. I'd say his strengths are accurate throws, both backhand and forehand, and putting.
Exactly what you need on this course. So 3 pars, 1 birdie, and we head onto hole 2.
Yeah, hole 2, a new look from last year. This time we're playing a par 313 meters. Quite severely uphill, about 2/3 of the fairway, and then after you have made it through the gap, about 80 meters off the tee, then you have to move pretty sharply to the left at the end. A lot of players are throwing a flat shot with an overstable distance driver, or at least straight to stable distance driver, get that big fade at the end, hopefully a couple of skips.
Oh yeah. This looks awesome. What a start for Roland. 2 perfect drives. Just 5-6 meters left now. And you can see the crowd. Pretty huge this afternoon.
Yeah, great shot. The main danger on this hole is, of course, missing the gap like Paul has done, but also the OB on the right and long side. So if you want to make the mistake of missing the gap like Paul did, it's probably better to do that on the left side. Let's see, Jakub here. Also really good looking drive. This needs to finish left though with a big skip. And he's gonna be right there next to Roland in the circle.
We like this one. Inside the circle. Second for the card. And James now. Needs a bit of turn. Yeah. Inside and a good kick. Always sharing emotions.
Pretty surprising to see the 2 of the most experienced players on the card making the error compared to the 2, almost rookies putting it just in the circle.
Yeah, just going for it. Not too much thinking, I'd say. Just letting the arm do the job. And a little breeze on this green. You can see the flag moving. And Jakub. Oh.
Wow, big breeze for him. Looks like, I think that release looked a little bit odd, but the wind bounce was even more odd. Now he's coming back. That's gonna be a bogey. Tough bogey to swallow.
Tough for Jakub. Unfortunately, the wind lifted the disc up. And a good birdie for Roland. 2 down through 2. Very nice start.
Yeah, perfect start. Both first 2 holes are playing above par on average, so that's always a sign that you would love to get the birdie. And just like that, Roland is already leading the card by 2 shots.
And also leading the tournament. Solo leader. And Jakub with the bullseye cleanup. Yeah, as you were mentioning, this one must be hard to swallow. Move on to hole 3, slightly downhill. Do you like this one?
It's a great hole. It's a very challenging hole for being such a short basic shot. Most of the challenge becomes with the speed control and the gap being pretty tight. And the higher scores that you might see on this hole are mostly because of the OB left, right and long. So you need some good touch here. Hopefully stay on the fairway, and you might even want to leave your drive a little bit short and skip up under the basket.
Yeah, speedy green. You can land 10-15 meters short. You will slide towards the basket. And also careful with the kicks on the trees on this shot, on this hole. It's pretty usual to see some discs going OB after a kick on the tree. This looks Oh, going through the right side. Stopped by the bush, just outside the circle.
Yeah, very good break though. Looks like it was close to hitting a lot of trees on that right side, and hitting any tree on this hole is scary because, as doesn't happen for James there, but quite often you find yourself OB left or right, as you said, off the kicks. So that's, I'd say, also a good break for James. Let's see if Jakub can hit the fairway better. And that's a good looking line, just a little bit left.
Careful. Oh no. Yeah, that's out of bounds, unfortunately. Yeah, I needed a bit more turn on this one. This needs to slow down also. Yeah. Good approach.
Not much more you want to do from there. It's a very tempting putt to run from here, as, you know, the basket's looking pretty big. You have a great open corridor to get to the basket, but if you run it from there, you can easily find yourself in the backside OB.
And Paul with the first. Oh, yes. Amazing. High right side. -1 now. And good one. Straddle putt. Good for the confidence.
You can see Paul being pretty comfortable on that straddle. I remember there was a period on his career where he had a back injury which caused him to go only for the straddle for one season. So maybe helping him a little bit there, as Jakub with a good par save after the OB.
Yeah, and good bounce back after the struggles on hole 2 green. So yeah, 3 pars, 1 birdie for Paul. And we'll have our first scoreboard check.
We are here. We are one. We will fight. We will fall. We will prevail. From the fjords of Norway to the shores of Spain, from the fire of Iceland to the hope of Ukraine, 30 countries, one voice. Go Europe!
Moving on to one of the hardest on the course.
One of the hardest, probably the most controversial hole on the course, hole number 4. Not the longest of par 4s, especially with the downhill off the tee. You want to throw either a straight shot on the grass, or if you're feeling aggressive and a little bit lucky, you want to throw a high forehand, cutting the corner and getting to a position where you can actually see the basket. This is not something you can do after the layup drive usually. And wherever your drive is, you just need to find the least risky route to the basket, whatever that is. It's usually a forehand, because backhands they tend to kick to the left side OB quite often.
Exactly, you have that mount on your way if you're laying up. What do you think the main option should be, the aggressive one? Even if you're going OB but you're up there. Oh, and that's an interesting shot. He will have the vision on the basket from there.
Yeah, that's perfect from Paul, and that's, I feel like, the play that gets you the best results usually. Roland with a very similar shot, but just catching some of the leaves, that can easily happen, you know. If you don't hit the perfect gap, you need a little bit of luck if you wanna, you know, go for that big sidearm. And even James Proctor, who we don't really know as a sidearm player, going for that big sidearm, and that's just perfect.
It's working, apparently. Up there also with Paul. Yeah, Roland will have a bit more struggle from down there. And Jakub is playing the layup. Oh, barely made it.
Yep, he's fine there though. The run-up is going to be very difficult, and the line, honestly, if you're in that short right corner, the line is not ideal. You have a lot of trees early.
We will never know.
Let's see, hope Roland doesn't hit a tree here. Looks like he has pured the gap. And that's a great shot. I'm really not sure what gap he was going for. I feel like it's always hard to know on this hole. But the line was perfect.
Yeah, that's around. Nicely inside the circle and just outside for Jakub. Yeah, 13-14 meters left for birdie.
James also puring one of the gaps, and that's a good shot. He's going to be a little bit short as well. Pretty tricky to get it all the way there. Especially with a slow disc, you have to throw it pretty hard or challenge the ceiling. And Paul here going putter shot, also a bit short. I'm really surprised he didn't go for a mid-range there, especially having to go with a standstill.
Yeah, everybody's around for birdie. That's pretty... Oh, yes. Thank you. Great highlight. And the first birdie of the round for James. Yeah.
Man, he just rocketed that putt into the basket. That was impressive. Look how hard he puts this. So perfectly in the middle too. And the angle, you know, we have said this before, but his angle that he puts on is just amazing. You know, slight bit of hyzer. It's never gonna flip over even in some wind. And dropping down with that flat to even slight, you know, nose down sometimes.
Great technique. Oh, looked good also. From a straddle position. Need a bit more push to have the first birdie of his round. Oh, a bit wobbly.
Yeah, weird release. Looks like it came out late and didn't really have a great spin on the disc.
No way. He's going so hard. You know, it can happen. He was high. Unfortunate. 3 down through 4. Would have been perfect. 2 down is still okay.
Yeah, 2 down is great, but yeah, I mean, you gotta wonder if Roland is maybe a little bit nervous and that's why he's putting even harder than normal. Of course, he's a hard putter normally, but he's just exploding in the basket.
Yeah, exactly. This one was really going fast, and we are moving on to one of the most beautiful holes on the course.
One of the most beautiful holes in all of Northern Europe for sure. A lot of players saying that this would make their dream 18, as it's a 219 meters par 4, playing so much shorter than that. The biggest drives on this hole might even land inside of circle 2 if the players really want to go for it for a slightly understable distance driver. Usually the play though is to go with a slower disc, something straight to overstable, preferably throw it at that right side and fade a little bit left off the fairway.
And James first on the tee.
And I think he is actually holding a distance driver. Great line on this, just needs to finish back. And yeah, that's kind of the risk here. If you turn it over, it's usually never really coming back.
Yeah, edge of the right side. He's gonna be fine. Even possible to go to the baskets from there. And that's, to me, that's the best line. Going towards the right side, slightly hyzer, crashing into that hillside left side. He's gonna be inside the woods, but not too many worries from there.
Yeah, very good game plan. And Roland looks like he's holding a mid-range here. Very far to the right.
Oh my god.
And that's a great kick back in the middle of the fairway, but he still has 180 probably to go at the basket.
Yeah, and hopefully the footing will be okay. Huge mistake. And this one is also one. Yeah, going into the right side, hopefully not too deep inside. Whoa, stand still.
Just trying to find the fairway though. This one is turning also, and you can see the hill just pulling the disc to the right once it starts turning. Really not a great shot from there. All he had to do was to get down there and finish a little bit to the left.
Okay, now Jakub. Looks like he's not too much inside the woods. This needs to turn exactly what he needs. Yeah, great control on this shot. He's gonna be around. Great scramble.
Very good shot, and looks like Roland is just on the edge. Could have been much worse with that turn that he had on the disc, but this is very manageable still for the par. Great angle control, playing the small skip at the end, and look at that. Gonna be par most likely if he doesn't get a bad spit out there.
Yeah, hopefully it's not entering his mind too much. Just keeping the game plan, the technique he has. Great touch inside the bullseye for a second birdie in a row. He's starting to find his groove.
You can see the yellow cone there is something that the spotters are using to show the players where their discs are. Huge thanks to all the volunteers of this event.
Yeah,
it's very smoothly run.
There is so many on the course. Are you kidding me?
That one wasn't too hard even. It looked just like the normal putt.
Wow. 2 in a row, man. Hole 4, hole 5.
That's rough, and I mean, we criticized Roland on the last hole for putting hard. You can't really say the same about Jakub Knápek.
Yeah, this one was pretty smooth. Right on the pole. Yeah, unfortunate. Discussing the basket. Yeah, hard break for Jakub.
Yeah, nothing you can really do about that. You just need to trust the process and do the same on the next hole, which is gonna be hole number 6. Probably one of the furthest playing 91 meter holes you're going to find. 91 meters, playing probably closer to 130. We're going way uphill. A lot of players are even opting to go with a distance driver here. You have this one big tree in the middle that most players are choosing the left side of, so the best shot here is usually a flat to turnover shot with something quite understable and fast.
Oh yeah. If he can miss... Oh yes sir. Great shot. It's really rare to see a player going on that plateau. He's gonna have 5-6 meters for a turkey now.
Yeah, that's great. It's so difficult, especially with the height that you have to put it on. And McBeth, he's gonna be way left. Looks like he did actually stop, kind of on the edge, just on the outside edge of the fairway. But from there, it's still gonna play pretty far, and there's no certainty that he even has a great line at the basket.
Oh my. That's the worst that could happen to any player going... Wow. That tree so early. Another mistake on the throwing for Roland. And that's too early also for Jakub.
Yeah, still gonna be putting though. And I don't want to call anybody out, but saying that's the worst that can happen on this hole might not be correct. I heard one player in the field did actually hit the flag on the right side of the tee pad, which is impressive in how bad that is.
Yeah. Not the best, you're right. But as we just saw Roland and Paul, they are going to scramble from down there.
Yeah, pretty good scramble, honestly, from Roland, Getting within putting range with that forehand is good. And Paul having to go really high. Great. Almost a great shot. He's going to be in circle 2 as well.
Yeah, a good way to scramble there. He will have a look to save his par from deep C2. And yeah, quite tough for Jakub on this one. Come on, it would be really clutch to get this one. Oh, good line and good push. He was uphill, aiming higher. Yeah, good putt in the end, unfortunate. And that's a great save from Roland.
Yeah, beautiful putt there. I feel like his pace is perfect for that just outside the circle putt. A little fast inside the circle, but from there he makes it look so effortless. And James Proctor here. One of the shortest birdie putts I can guarantee you that this hole has seen today in round 2.
Yeah, and over the entire tournament, I'm pretty sure. Jakub taking the par, and unfortunate bogey for Paul. not that bad knowing the landing zone of the tee. And let's go to the split screen.
And moving on to hole number 7, this is kind of the stretch where you would like to birdie. From this hole on, there's a lot of holes that are very birdieable, this one being the first one. 112 meters. It's all about knowing the line on this hole. You need to get around these middle trees on the left. If you do that with a high gliding hyzer, you're always going to be within putting distance. Best shots are usually landing on this path that is full of wood chips and taking a small skip at the end.
Let's start. Oh, that's too much inside. You know, we were mentioning yesterday that being too much inside from the tee can be good, but this was too much.
Yeah, I think it's easier to make the mistake of going too far forward on this hole compared to being too far inside. As you can see, Roland here getting pretty lucky through the trees. He was a little bit far off the fairway, but still gonna be in, just outside of circle 1 there. That's a good result for the shot.
Yeah, going through the backside, even if the shot looked pretty amazing. Same mistake as James, catching an early tree on the left side.
Even challenging the Mando on the left side that you have to go right off. And Paul here, this is pretty wide as well, moving left though. And yeah, look at that, landing on the path. It's a pretty bad roll though.
Yeah, he's inside the circle. He should be fine, and as you were saying, he needs to fight that Mando now. And hyzer angle, that's gonna cut roll. Oh no! Worst reaction of the tree. And he's gonna fight to save a par outside the circle. James, good. Yeah, bit short. And I was going to say nothing can happen more than a par on this one. And yeah, that's going to be a bogey.
At least a bogey. He still has a putt from, 7-8 meters. And let's see Roland here for another birdie. Good looking release, just a little bit left.
Yeah, too high. Left side for Roland. And this is a good save, even though it's for bogey. Needing this one +2 through 7, not the start he was looking for, obviously. And now, yeah, this one was kind of off. Too much left and too high also.
Yeah, and you could see the release as we saw on hole 4, kind of similar. A little bit of flutter, not quite coming out of the hand as naturally as on some of the other putts.
Yeah, you're right. And we are heading to hole 8.
Hole number 8, you have a couple of options here. You can go for a huge hyzer around the right side. I'd say the more commonly thrown option though is this right down the middle gap, which you would like to throw with either a very hard thrown mid-range, or for the most players it's gonna be a straight fairway driver, hopefully skip a little bit at the end, find your way to the circle. There's some OB long, but honestly on this hole I'd say it's so much more common to see shots landing short than long that almost none of the players are very concerned about the OB long.
Yeah, you're right. OB long is more about the second shot if you're short or catching a tree, just controlling. And James going very high, not sure if it's okay.
Yeah, a little bit wide out of the hand. And he has landed OB, bounced inbounds, and then rolled back out of bounds.
Yeah, he's gonna play from there. But that's probably a first bogey for James. No. No. And even though you were saying it's even almost impossible, it just happened. Roland went OB long through the middle gap. Oh, and this was looking pretty okay.
Yeah, Paul with a really good shape, but just not quite getting the line on it. Let's see, Knápek here, missing it a little bit to the left, and yeah, he has hit one of the guardian trees at the gap. Yeah, not the greatest of shots here. Everybody is either OB or out of position for the birdie, unless Paul can do some magic here. I've seen him make a couple of these back in the day, but not a run there, just laying it up for the par, knowing that nobody else will take a birdie on this hole. Unless, of course, Jakub Knápek does something magical here.
And he will just lay up. Good touch on this approach. Bullseye, easy par incoming. Excuse me. And James to save the par. A bit low. Low cage. That's going to be the first mistake of his round. Back to 10 down.
And you can see a feature that is very present on this course on any holes that has OB and the rock wall is that the OB line is actually about half a meter off the rock wall. So usually if you slide up to the rock wall on the ground, you might find yourself in the OB. Of course, making the course a little bit more difficult for these top players.
And just like that, we are starting the last hole of the front nine. One of the toughest on the course.
For sure, 222 meters going downhill at first. First shot is really all about staying on the fairway. You don't have to get a lot of distance. It's important to go straight and move far to the right around the corner to open up the angle for the second shot. Second shot, the best play here, if you can hit the fairway, is going to be a slight flip up hyzer that's gliding through the gap in the woods. Also a good play on the second shot is going to be just throw it to the right side back woods and hope to fade through and find yourself with a putt.
Yeah, really tricky hole, tricky footing everywhere on this one and on the course. Lots of rocks and trees and roots, and that's a good shot from Roland. Yeah, he's a bit tight left side, but he's gonna have a look.
Yeah, pretty lucky there to go through the last trees on the left side there. He was a little bit outside, and Paul's forehand looking also a bit too straight. As you can see, pushing the backside trees, that's a very easy mistake to do on this hole.
Yeah, and he doesn't have the same luck as Roland. He'll be stopped. And that's where the scramble and the trouble starts. Inside for Jakub. That's one of the worst spots you can end up. And I love this line. Turnover shot is so beautiful on this one.
Yeah, good shot there. Anything near that walking path is going to be a good shot here. And Jakub, he actually has a good line here. If he can shoot through the gap with a bit of a turnover, which he cannot unfortunately quite do, he still has a chance for the par, but it's very tricky. And Paul here, this is very aggressive, going high with the forehand and hyzer.
Yeah, catching the tree really high. He's in the middle of the fairway. Yeah, good for the third shot, in position to save the par. Yeah, not sure how it slided, but he's around for birdie.
Yeah, great line, and let's see Roland here. That's a good position to go forehand and hyzer, as you want that, you know, turn and then straight flight. But he's going to be a little bit left and short. Should be easy for the par, which honestly par on this hole, that's going to be a good score.
Yeah. Big score separator, this hole 9. So the par is decent. And as you can see, the tunnel to hit, to reach the basket is pretty tight. Hard line. Good touch on this one, knowing the drop off behind the basket. He's gonna have a par. He should be. He's around 5-6 meters, and a layup for Jakub. No risks taken.
Yep, that drop-off not really coming into play on the approach shots as much as on the putts, but of course everybody now so close that they're not really worried about it. Just a couple of tap-ins for par. No birdies on the card for this hole, which not too unusual. It's a very difficult get.
Yeah, and Roland 2 birdies to start, 1 speed out. Yeah, just 7 pars in a row after that, but pretty solid in the end. And yeah, we have a card going pretty nicely through the first 9 holes. James is waving, 1 mistake, a turkey, and yeah, we'll see how it goes on the back, man.
Yeah, and the field is giving these guys some pressure. Ricky Wysocki early in the day went 10 under on the round. You know, Dennis Augustsson is giving pressure. Pekka Hyvönen even giving pressure. There's a lot of players in that, you know, 10 under range. So we're gonna have an exciting back 9, and these players really have to start getting some more birdies if they wanna stay in this leading position.
You're definitely right. Thank you guys for watching, for subscribing, and yeah, we'll see you on the back.